Hello everyone and welcome to a YouTube video on the Constructive Criticism YouTube channel. I'm Spencer, host of Constructive Criticism and Limited Time Only, two podcasts about getting better at Magic the Gathering. Today we're doing a deck tech on Death Shadow, but not your typical Death Shadow. So you have your Jund variants, you have your Junk variants, you have all kinds of variants, and I have been working on a bug variant. So I've been playing this deck a lot. I haven't really been into Modern for a long time. But I love mid-range decks, and I really love aggressive mid-range decks. And this deck kind of hits all the bills for me. So let's kind of go over the main deck and talk about what we like here. So we have 4 Mishra's Bauble, 4 Death Shadow, 3 Snapcaster Mage, 4 Street Wraith, 4 Tarmogoyf, 1 Abrupt Decay, 3 Fatal Push, 1 Murderous Cut, 2 Stubborn Denial, 4 Thought Scour, 2 Liliana the Last Hope, 3 Inquisition of Kozilek, 4 Thoughtseize, and 3 Traverse the Ulvenwald. We have 18 lands in the form of 1 Breeding Pool, 1 Forest, 3 Misty Rainforests, 2 Overgrown Tomb, 4 Polluted Delta, 1 Swamp, 4 Verdant Catacombs, and 2 Watery Grave. So, as you might be able to tell, there's a lot of things different here from some of the other bug lists you might have seen. The first thing, and the thing that put this deck over the edge for me and made me want to play it, was Thought Scour. 4 Thought Scour, letting us have big Tarmogoyfs without having to play red, and giving us access to really good Snapcaster Mages, and making it easier to turn on or Traverse the Ulvenwalds in this color. Thought Scour is typically going to be in the form of Serum Visions in most of these decks, and Thought Scour just is so much better. It makes it so that we can play Murderous Cut in the main, fixing some of the problems that the deck might have, and it really changes what the deck does and looks like and how the deck plays out in a really impactful and meaningful way, and in a really positive way. The deck functions with Death Shadow. So for those who don't know, Death Shadow is a 1-mana 13/13. That gets -X where X is your life total. So you have to deal yourself quite a bit of damage to get this thing out. Luckily we have things like Street Wraith, fetch lands, and shock lands to get ourselves a little bit of damage, as well as Thoughtseize. And overall the deck functions a lot better than I thought it would. One of the huge draws of this deck is getting to play Stubborn Denial, just one of my favorite Magic cards. As well as Murderous Cut, Fatal Push, Abrupt Decay. You kind of get to hit everything in the bug colors. And Fatal Push really lets you not have to play red, which is pretty great for me. I really appreciate that. The other thing here is, because of Traverse the Ulvenwald, I was able to go down on Inquisition of Kozilek. So instead of playing all 8 of the discard spells, I only had to play 7. Getting to play an additional Traverse the Ulvenwald. And then Traverse the Ulvenwald plus Snapcaster Mage some of your 1-ups like Abrupt Decay, Fatal, Stubborn Denial, just not even 1-ups, but just your speed of spells lets Snapcaster Mage be really good in this deck. One thing that I have thought about is adding white for things like Orzhov Charm in this deck, maybe switching some things around, making it a 4-color deck with just a splash for Orzhov Charm. But overall, the deck's pretty good. One of the things you'll notice is Liliana the Last Hope is in the main over Liliana the Veil. I think that with Snapcaster Mage in your deck, and being a really pretty much a Delirium deck, Liliana the Last Hope is significantly better in the main deck. We'll go right into the sideboard now and kind of talk about what we're doing there. We have 2 Nihil Spellbombs, 1 Big Game Hunter, 1 Seal of Primordium, 2 Threads of Disloyalty, 1 Dismember, 1 Dispel, 2 Stubborn Denial, 2 Liliana the Veil, 3 Collective Brutality. One of this deck's harder matchups with Jund is the Bant Eldrazi deck, and just including Snapcaster Mage in the deck has made that matchup a lot better. Being able to really regain some of the card advantage that you might lose in that matchup is really helpful, and Snapcaster Mage Thoughtseize is just really powerful, and overall I've been really impressed with the lines that you get in this deck over some of the things like Jund. I know that a lot of people are on the Esper build because of Snapcaster Mage, and I think that green just gives you Tarmogoyf and Traverse the Ulvenwald, which is better than what you're going to get out of Esper, so that's why I stay on this list. Overall, the sideboard is pretty powerful. You have everything you need in the form of spell bombs, Big Game Hunter, Threads of Disloyalty being a complete blowout in many matchups. And then you'll see that it's a Dismember over a second Murderous Cut. I'd rather tax my life total a little bit more than my graveyard a little bit more in this deck. We have just enough to get away with playing a Murderous Cut. I thought about a Murderous Cut in this slot. I also thought about a Vendetta in this slot. But overall, after a lot of testing, I think Dismember just fits this bill a little bit better. This deck has a pretty good burn matchup, despite what people think. Between Collective Brutality, Stubborn Denial, Dispel, at the Stubborn Denials in the main, Fatal Pushes, you have a lot of things that just interact with them and really put them off what they're doing, especially the Naya versions. Overall, I'm pretty impressed with the deck. It's a deck that I would highly recommend. If there was a Modern tournament tomorrow, this is the deck that I would be playing. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'd be happy to talk about the deck, answer any questions that you might have. Overall, the deck just plays well. It's one of the better Modern decks I've played in a long time, and I've really been enjoying myself. So thank you everybody for watching. Don't forget to check out patreon.com/ccmtg to become a patron of the show. You can donate any amount that you see fit. Every dollar is appreciated, and it goes to paying my co-hosts on constructive criticism and making more awesome content like this. I also would be happy to hear about other decks that you've been playing to see if I can try them out and maybe do a deck on your stuff. So thank you everybody for watching, and we'll see you guys all next week.